So I'm cheating. I have my talk with me because if I don't, I'll lose track and end up talking about how awesome I think pants are, and the perfect fitting pair of pants will change your life. You'll understand someday. So, growing up, people always asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, even at a young age, I was annoyed by that question, mostly because I didn't know. I always thought, does it matter? You don't have to know. You know that, right? I mean, have all the hopes and dreams your soul can create, but you don't have to have your career mapped out when you're 5. Actually, I think it's more important not to decide early on what you want to be when you grow up. I mean, you may think you want to be a firefighter, an astronaut, and when you're 20, you want to write a blog. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Well, for me, I stayed open-minded. I experimented, and later on in high school, I decided that I wanted to pursue fashion design. But how did I come upon that? Vogue magazine. Sounds kind of stereotypical, but I got interested in the magazine. I was flipping through the pages. I was really fascinated by high fashion. I mean, there's a lot that goes into a single ad in Vogue magazine. There's makeup, hair, there's tons of color, there's lighting, special effects, really interesting poses. And more importantly for me, it was about the clothes. I was fascinated by how all this came together and how I could be a part of it. But what made me interested in what I saw in the pages of Vogue magazine? It was curiosity. My curiosity about what was going on in this magazine drew me in. It made me want to be a part of it. And that's the title of this presentation. Curiosity did not kill the cat. How many times have you heard that phrase? Curiosity killed the cat, right? I'm living proof that that's not always true. When you have the freedom to pursue your curiosity, the possibilities are endless for you. This has been my experience in all areas of my life. Have the courage to follow your truth, and if the support you need, in whatever form that might be, isn't there, it will show up for you at some point. Now, surprisingly, my parents didn't mind that I was taking these ads and posting them all over my bedroom walls. They kind of let me do whatever I wanted. I was painting and doing all kinds of art projects. I was the creative of the family. I was the weird one. That's okay. I'm sure a lot of you know what that feels like. But luckily, they gave me the room I needed to explore. They let me do my thing and kind of run wild. I started to get creative with my own clothes. I was creating my own washes on denim with bleach. I was embellishing, gluing things together, cutting stuff up, putting different pieces of different garments together, all kinds of craziness, right? And the biggest thing about this is that I was having fun. I was having fun with what I was doing. Most of it didn't make any sense, and sometimes it looked crazy. Nobody understood what I was doing, what I was going for, but I didn't care. I kept doing it. I had to experiment with my creativity to find out what worked and what didn't work. And then, in high school, and today, that's how I get to my end result, which is a good design. I had no idea what it meant to be a fashion designer, none at all. And at the time, I just knew I wanted to be creative with clothing. So fashion design is what I started to focus on. Now keep in mind, this is in high school, in a small town in Kentucky. Yeah. So fashion design was uncharted territory, to say the least. Let me tell you, the counselors at school, when I told them what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, and all the big, grandiose dreams that I had, looked at me like I had 2 heads. It was up to me to figure this thing out. So I decided, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go big, and I want to go after the biggest school for fashion design in the country, which is FIT. And keep in mind at this point, my sewing skills are very novice, and my sketching skills, pretty much non-existent, and I have no idea how to put together a portfolio. Well, I did it anyway. I pulled together pieces of stuff that I had done so far, sent it in. A few weeks go by, I get my letter. Thanks, but no thanks, is pretty much what they said. Now, I don't know about you, but when I get told no, it makes me want to try harder. I don't listen very well when I get told no. So I go after what I want anyway. And I wanted to go to FIT. I didn't care what they said. And I knew that I wanted to be in New York City. So I settled on state school to get some undergrad out of the way. All the while, I stayed focused on fashion. I tried once more to get into FIT, but no luck the second time around either. Well, fine. I'll go somewhere else. I made my way from Kentucky to Colorado State University to study apparel. I ended up in New York City, after all, for an internship with a company called Loom State. Now, being the stubborn, independent, creative person that I am, it didn't take long for me to grow tired of designing under other people. I love designing menswear, and that's where I got my start. But I wanted to do something bigger. I wanted to make a serious impact on the fashion industry. I wanted to stand out the way that Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, and even Chanel did when they were in their heyday. So I experimented with mixing men's and women's styles together in college, and I had become interested in androgynous fashion. I liked bending the rules with gender. That's the statement I wanted to make. So I gave myself a platform for doing so by creating my own label. Now, I'm a tomboy from Kentucky, making my own way in the fashion industry, making my own rules, and forging my own path. After I had the courage to take that leap, that's when I began to gain recognition for my talents and efforts. We all have curiosities. That's the seed that grows your interest in different subjects. For some, it's quantum mechanics. For others, it's gardening, painting, computers, whatever that might be. It's your curiosity that drives you to always learn, experiment, grow, create, and then share it with others. Whatever you can dream, you can do. Begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Thanks.